Here we go. The dragon ship is on. We are on board. And I'm going to bring the guys up right now. The dragon ship, the place where the rising tide lifts all boats. We've got a hell of a show for you guys today. And I'm going to bring up yo right now. Glenn Laurence.
Yo.
Mark Daniels. Yo. Phil Foster, Mr.
Hey.
Fitness. Yo. We have Junior. We're bringing Junior in. Junior, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm having a wonderful time out here in Atlantic City.
That's fantastic. I had a little bit glitch getting through the soundboard right there, but you know what? Sometimes you just do that. You know, you got to wrap the ropes back around the gunwales, pull them tight, and then reinflate the sails on the dragon ship. Here we are today, going to talk about some amazing topics, some red pill rules, and we don't have many of them. And the nice thing about rules is, you know, rules are not guidelines. They are kind of hard and fast things. However, just like anything, when you use standard distribution, there are points of deviation. What do you mean, Thor? That means if I'm looking at the bell curve, a standard deviation is out there on that 10%. Second deviation, a little further out in that 5. And then you got that really tiny, 1.67%. Those things exist outside of the rules, right? But for the majority, we live inside the rules. And one of the things these rules we're going to talk about today in the red pill come from the book, The Rational Male. A shocking and a deeply unflattering book for most who really don't understand human sexual interdynamics. Yeah, exactly, Phil. That's the book right there. This one written by Rollo Tomassi, who, by the way, has a brand new show out that was out last night. I didn't get a chance to catch it, but hopefully we'll get to say hi to him later in the month. Me and Greg.
I caught part of it.
Yeah.
I caught part of it. It was good.
But he spent 20 years here, and he used the empirical data that the evolutionary psychologists were bringing up, and then he put into layman's terms some simple guidelines to follow to aid men in increasing the probability that their relationships could be good for them. Now, notice I didn't say good for the woman. I didn't say good for the children, although those are the outcomes when you have a good relationship. So we've already discussed about frame. Remember, that was the very first one. We spent several episodes on frame. Frame is everything. So go back and check that episode out. Today, we're going to go through the final 3 of the 9 Iron Rules of Tomassi. But before we do that, I want to just go through, introduce the panel once again, and see what everybody's up to right now. For me, hey, I'm here leading the dragon ship. We've got so much going on in the future. Just to give you guys a brief idea before the panel speaks, in the future, we've got some amazing shows. We're going to talk about passport bros. We're going to talk about men's fitness. We got experts here, professional bodybuilders, power lifters right here on this panel. We got a former boxing champion on this panel, guys that have fought and struggled their entire lives, guys that are experts socially and corporately. So we're going to go ahead and go through men's fitness. And when I say fitness, that's mental fitness as well as physical fitness. You know, we're going to do that in November, and we're going to discuss some really fun stuff, such as NoFap, semen retention. Is it really for men or is it just for women? You'll have to watch and find out. So we've got some great episodes coming off. We're also going to be doing some one-off episodes probably in November. When I say one-off, we're going to do some specials. We're going to have to do that. The Dragon Ship is the core flagship of the Dragon Ship network, but we are going to be bringing out the rest of the Dragon Ship lineup over the course of the next few months. We're broadcasting right now to Glenn Laurence, Phil Foster, Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration, and Huds 2. So we're broadcasting to all these channels, including our long-lost compadre and Viking father, Raith. We'll miss him today. He's passing a kidney stone. Say your prayers to Raith. So with that, let's go ahead and introduce the panel. Yo, Glenn.
Yo. What's going on, everybody? My name is Glenn Laurence. What we got going on today, man, we're going to be hitting Rule 7, 8, 9. And after that, yours truly will be on the red carpet with the O-Father himself. We're going to go check out a movie that me and my fiance was a part of, and it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
Fantastic, Glenn. That's fantastic. I'll see you later today, too, at the premiere of your movie.
That's right.
Phil Foster out there in Texas, the place the Allfather was born.
What's going on, guys? I'm glad to be here today. Same old, man. Putting it together, man. And I'm excited about this this stream and talking about the last 7 rules and chopping it up with you gents today. Everything's going solid in my life.
That's good to hear, man. I like hearing that. Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration. I see you just grinding away over there on your channel. How's it going, man? You got a broadcast today too?
Going great. Well, I have a show at 6 o'clock at the Powers Within podcast. Glad to be airing this show on my channel at Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration, or you can check me out on IG at Mark's Inspiration. Just glad to be part of this crew, even though we have Glenn on here, but I can hang in there with him.
I know. It's a bit of a drag. Hudsman, tell me, why are you called the Hudsman? Huds?
It's more, I don't know. I think it was a nickname from high school. But yeah, what's going on with me? So I got to talk to Andre about the specifics, but we're going to be launching the course this week. And so enrollment will begin this week. It'll close next Sunday, and then we get started the following week. So I'm really excited for that.
Why don't you take just a moment here and tell us what the basics are on that?
Sure. So it's called Changes in the Game, Texting and Mindset Mastery. And so essentially what it is, it's going to be a Tuesday session where we focus on your mindset, making sure we have all of that correct. And then every Thursday going through the technicals of texting so you can be successful in this changing dating landscape. Then you go out, do your thing on the weekends. We come back on that Tuesday. We reflect on what your experiences have been, your wins, your losses, how to get even better. And then we do it again. And it's going to be an intensive 4-week program where we take you from 0 to hero very, very fast.
Wow, that sounds really good. I think that's fantastic, especially when it comes around tests. Of course, I had a foolproof way of texting in my video, which was, the cure for the black pill, which was the 16 commandments for poons, which was, for every text she gives you, you give her 3 paragraphs long each. Seemed to always work.
That's the beta form.
You're going to fix us with that? I don't know why, but I see guys do that all the time. How you doing? Let me tell you in 3 paragraphs. I think guys really need help. There's what I'm saying, Huds.
They do.
I would agree.
You were so practical when someone says, how we're doing. Well, let's see. At 07:47, I got up. I had some.
Today my dog died.
Exactly.
Really, we could do a whole show on that right there.
Yeah.
I mean, easily.
That's a great idea. Maybe we should put something together and some examples, and we'll let Huds.
I think we should do a whole show in our Phil Foster voice.
Let's do it.
All right.
Just a whole show just like this. Just like this. Let's let everybody my name's Phil Foster.
I'll teach you how to give her the tingles with your voice.
Tingles with the voice. Make her repeat everything you say.
Yes, sir.
Right? And then say, please. Master.
Call me daddy.
Sir.
All right. Let's get on to this. This is going to be the most controversial one today because I have personal experience here too. Who does not? I mean, you know what? Let me just go ahead and share and let the reader, this guy that I got pulled up, go ahead and read Iron Rule of Tomassi #7 from the best-selling book. You know what? I just read that this book sold 3 million copies, man. That's good news. So here we go. Let's add to the stream and get us going here, guys. That's a little bit easier. And let's go ahead and listen to the rule. Let me know if there's any sound problems because we did a quick sound check today. Okay, chat?
Iron Rule 7. It is always time and effort better spent developing relations with new, fresh, prospective women than it ever will be in attempting to reconstruct a failed relationship. The fact that she cheated on you or you were the optionless beta chump that had to beg her back will always be the elephant in the room. Time is better spent on a new prospective woman. You may be tempted to get her back because she is your soulmate, but soulmates are a lie. You have one-itis, which is an unhealthy romantic obsession with a single person. A narrative you've been sold by Disney movies. There really are more fish in the sea.
Yes, for sure. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Let me get rid of that right now.
For people who are poor,
Oh,
it's because they actually don't see reality for.
I must have had it on automatic. All right, here we go. What do you guys think about that? I mean, he touched on a couple things there after the rule was stated, but just to let everybody know, it's always time and effort better spent developing new fresh perspective women than it will ever be in attempting to reconstruct a failed relationship. When I say failed relationship, it's broken. It's gone. I think there's only one caveat in there. And I'll tell you my caveat, but let's go around the round table and see what you guys think about this. But I know when a breakup happens, especially one that's been there for a while, long term, if you guys run in the same social circles, and I got some really good advice on this early on, but a lot of people don't get this advice. And that's when you break up, the girls go to all the girlfriends in the social circle. Blah, blah. He's this, he's that. I feel so bad. I need this. I need that. My purpose is gone. Phil, what am I going to do? Thank you. You're a shoulder to cry on. Oh, now you're addicted to ride on. Oh my gosh. Oh, and then everybody in the social circle knows that this shit's going down, right? And if this has been your social circle for a while, imagine being married 10 years or plus, even 5 years plus in your social circle, and everybody's starting to like get in control, like, man, I heard his story and I'm kind of sympathetic to guys. And then the gals are like, oh, I heard her story. I totally understand. Lost her purpose. And he just uncaring about it. And then this shit starts to drag on. And the funny thing is, if it gets nasty enough, that social circle is going to be damaged forever. Think about it. And it could be family and friends. And when you guys all decide to make lovey again, those people are left like, what the fuck? These people are at each other's throats trying to get sides together and bring up arms against each other and draw battle lines and seek out allies. And where this really gets nasty is in a divorce and when children are involved, right? And so I was always told, hey, you're going to break up at the social circle, be valorous. Things didn't work out. Move on. Let's talk about something else. Oh, I'm going here. I'm doing this. Life moves on. That's the better part of it because you give everybody some dignity not to have to choose your side. And in the long run, that's a much better option than, especially if you're a man, if you're going to go out there and you're going to see your friends and you're going to cry about them because you're so heartbroken. And if you have one-itis, it is a crushing feeling. You want to talk to your family and friends about it. But putting it back together after you've done something like that is incredibly hard, especially if she's moved on and you're already out there dating and things like that are going on. And then you beg her back. I mean, it's quite a blow. I have a video here that kind of illustrates that one-itis. I'd like to play everybody. Okay. And then we'll get right into the meat of this. What do you guys say? This is a few minutes. We're only going to do about a minute and 30 seconds or so. This guy, let me preface it. He's being caught on. He's being caught on the phone. But how many of you guys can associate with people that have been broken up and then do this? Like the girl cheats or leaves or breaks up, and he doesn't want to break up, and he's got the one-itis. I'll go ahead and play it. Here we go. Listen to him.
Better, man. I can show you better. I'm begging you. I'm begging. Please. I can show you better. I know I can, man. I know it. I just know it, man. Just let me, please. I know the family you gave me chance after chance. You have. You always give me for the doubt. You always believe in me. Just please, man.
What am I giving you another chance to do?
Just please. Not to hurt you. Not to mistreat you. Not to lie to you. None of that. You're not giving me a chance to let you down. Please. Please. I'm fucking begging you. Please. Just this one. Just please, man. I'm telling you. This is not the life, man. This is not the fucking life, man. Please, man. Please. You already said I can't go with you, but that's okay. But please. I'm telling you. This is not the fucking life, man. This is not the normal, man. This is not the, here we go again. No. Just please. You already put your brother, so I know I can't go, man. But just please, man. Just please. I'm begging you. Please. Like this. Please. Alexis, Mom, I'm begging you, please, man. Please, Alexis, look at me, please, man. That's all I can keep saying is just please.
Please what?
Please, man. Please.
No.
God, Alexis, please, man. Please. This is not the life, man. I promise. Just come on, man. Please. Alexis.
All right, well, wait. When I'm done texting my baby daddy, then I'll do it. Then I'll talk.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Reminded me for a minute, when my brother wanted this candy, what was he, about 5 years old? He threw himself down, in the Kmart, he wanted the candy and mom said no. He did exactly the same thing. You think he lost his candy there, guys? So
Yeah.
Man, how many of you know somebody like that?
I was cringing watching.
It is very cringy. I've witnessed that in my family, though.
It's sad. It's what it is. It's sad because. All right, is this where I could tee off, Thor?
Yes, I just want you guys to react to that because it's kind of super childish, but this is kind of the common norm when a guy loses his way for the candy.
Yeah, let me say this. This is why Iron Rule number 6 is where it is and number 7 is where it is.
Yep.
Okay, women love idealistically, right? And men love idealistically,
right.
Women love opportunistically. And when she's done, once she's done with you, there's no begging.
Exactly.
You could beg and you could fucking give up the world, but look what you look like when you do so. This is what happens when guys don't understand that she's already moved on. This broad has already moved on. And she cannot love him. How can a woman love him the way that he's behaving? Because now he's acting like a child.
You can never unsee that either.
She has no respect for him because 1, she's filming this shit, finding it hilarious. 2, you could tell he's begging her to be submissive to her, not her being submissive to him. And so right there, you have nothing. There's nothing there. So when you go from 6 to Iron Rule 7, where now she's cheated on him, and now he's begging, she cannot, even if she forced herself, she cannot get herself to respect you or to submit to you after another dick's been inside her.
Yeah, well, this has been taught to men for a long time. But think of it this way: she can never unsee that, and so you're never going to satisfy that alpha side again. And even on the provider side, this is not how a provider would do it. I mean, if he's going to provide, he's got to buck up, right? Even
he would have been
better off. Won't do this, right?
He would have been better off if he got up and said, "Oh, this is how it is," and then walked the fuck out. And he would have a better chance of her coming back to him if he really wanted the relationship, instead of begging and crying like he was. He would have had a better option.
You're jumping ahead to my caveat.
My bad.
That's good though, Glenn. I love it. Hold your horses, young man. So yeah, I mean, when you're in this situation, you're at her total mercy. She can't unsee this. You will never be that guy again if you do. I watched a family member do this in the social circle, in public, thinking that this appeal to her emotion would work. And it did for about as long as it took for them to get out of that public environment until they could get somewhere private.
Here's the thing. What you're doing, you're not appealing to her emotion when you're doing that. You're what you're trying to do is,
I think he thinks he is though.
But I think he's forcing, it's really what you're doing is you're guilting her.
Yeah.
You're forcing her into a situation that she doesn't want to be in anymore. Like the way I look at it is like, once they make that move, you have to respect the decision that they made. Respect them. Respect the fact that they don't want to be with you. Fine, bitch. You don't want to be with me? Fine. I'm going to level up. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to respect the decision you make. And guess what? You don't get to be with me when I'm there. Exactly. And that's the decision that you made. And I'm going to respect that. And I'm going to keep that door closed because there's other prospects out there. My time is going to be better invested in a woman that hasn't seen me cry like this, that doesn't want to cheat on me like this, that doesn't want to do that because I need to level up.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just going to comment on that. When we get into November, we're going to talk about it because one of our episodes is going to be, guys, part of being a man is reinventing yourself, creating that dominant masculine presence. We move on to the next step. the best revenge is living well. And you know what? There have been many people in all of your lives who said that little shit ain't going to amount to nothing, much like you watch this guy cry. But you know what? That could be fuel. That could be motivational fuel to see him in 2 years and go, what the fuck did happen to him? You could be on top of the world by changing your identity. And this is not being fake. This is being genuine to the path and being true to the burden of performance that Rollo talks about. Bill.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment real quick. Instead of trying to rekindle that, that whole situation where a lot of guys get stuck in is they chase the poon, right? They're chasing it. Okay, so here's the thing. That situation is what it is. Here's the thing. You want quality women in your life. It's real simple, man. Level yourself up. But see, the problem is a lot of guys, they don't want to put that work in. They don't want to go to the gym and get right in the mirror. They don't want to work on their style. They don't want to work on their money. They're too focused on taking the easiest path, the path of least resistance. So you find these dudes in this situation right here, begging and pleading. And Glenn is absolutely correct. The moral of the story is this. If you literally are sitting there begging your frigging girl for anything, you've already lost the game, dude. You've been lost it. It's been gone for many, many moons. Take it to the curb and let that go. Work on yourself. Chase us. Rich Cooper always says that. If you find yourself in a position like that, don't chase the poon. Chase excellence. Find that excellence in yourself. It's real simple. Girls and women come and go from your life, especially if you got your shit on point. That's your money, your physique, and your aesthetic. That's all it takes. There's no mystery cure to this right here. The problem is most dudes are inherently lazy and they get comfortable around a woman and they say, okay, well, I've got her now. I'm going to try and keep her, even though this situation's transpired.
Well, guys also think that there's equity in a relationship. Like I put all this time and effort into the relationship that I got some equity in this relationship that I could pull out on, that I could rely on. And there's no relationship equity like that when it comes to women. They live in the here and now. And to tee off of what you're saying, which Cooper also says is it's not yours, it's just your turn. Well, how do you make your turn last the longest? How do you make your turn last a lifetime? By always constantly leveling up. By always constantly getting better. And guess what, guys? When you are constantly getting better and leveling up, you are forcing her to also level up. Because if she wants to reap all your benefits that you have from leveling up, she knows in the back of her head that she's also going to need to level up. Because she's not going to get a free ride, because she's going to see all the potential women that you have, the potential opportunity and prospects, and she also is going to want to make sure that she stays in the position that she's in. But if you give up that position, she cheats on you because she doesn't see you as someone that one, that she could respect, and two, that she could respect and be submissive to, then you're going to be fighting an uphill battle. And the back of her mind is, you know what, that guy that dicked me down before I decided to stay with this guy maybe was the better option.
All right, Glenn, let me get my hammer out and give you a thunderclap. I'm working on this thing. No, that's really a really important point, for sure. And it sounds so easy. It's not. Here's why. It's not easy because we live in the moment a lot of times in the past, like they had said before. Things were good and they should remain the same. That's a big part of what Glenn's saying about a relationship equity. It really doesn't exist in the way men think it should. It doesn't. You can be married for 20 years and everything you built, it's really meaningless to a woman when she puts her mind to the next branch and gets a hold of it.
Let them swing.
Yeah. And your best bet is that she'll slip and start to fall, and then she's going to want to grab back for you. That's the caveat we were talking about.
You got to keep the door closed when that happens.
You can, but sometimes you're not even aware of it, and then you got to close that door, and they'll try to stick their foot in there. If you're fortunate, and you can see this coming because you've educated yourself on the red pill, and you started along that path, and you listen to guys like Rollo Tomassi and Rich Cooper, and even myself, when it comes to long-term relationship maintenance, you'll have already started taking actions, which we'll go into in other episodes. But once you've started taking those actions, I mean, to be honest, you will start improving yourself, but it's much more complex than that. You're also going to start utilizing, your own social circle that she's excluded from. The power of that in pre-selection is so huge that if she starts to kind of give you that cold shoulder and you're starting to see some of the contempt coming before the relationship's over, where you're engaging in conversation, you think everything is nice and everything's good, and you make the comment, you guys are on your way to the restaurant, you go, oh yeah, look, the sky is a beautiful blue, and she goes, no, it's not, it's actually kind of a slight color purple. You got a problem, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. So you need the hot waitress say, yes, it is so beautiful, don't you just enjoy it? I wish I wasn't working here, was with you guys watching the blue sky. That'll change her perspective completely. And then she'll realize, no, it's not actually a gray purple. It's actually a deep, beautiful blue where she's at. It's the grass is greener problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's also, like, what do you guys think about the respect of her decision, though? Like, don't you think that you're better off letting her just take off? Like, she cheats on you. Respect. It's like a law, right? If you break the law, there's a consequence. You have to respect the law, right? There's a punishment. If you commit murder, you go to jail. That's a law. That you got to respect the law. That's what the law is. So when she cheats on you, you got to respect the law. You got to move. You have to exclude her from your life, because if you don't respect the law as a guy, you're not respecting yourself. If you let bad behavior or you let someone commit a crime against you, then you're not respecting the law or yourself. So I look at it from it might be too legalistic, but it's like from a legal point is like, hey, I respect criminals' decisions to break the law, and I also respect the punishment for that law being broken. And it's like, you cheat, you step out, you do that, bam, I can't help you. I can't save you from the decision you made now, because the consequences are this. There's no begging, for lesser sentencing. It's excommunicated,
I'll agree with you, but then I'm going to disagree for an exception. And I know we don't like to talk about a standard deviation, Glenn, but I'll get the guy's take on this too, because I've counseled guys that want to save a marriage. And here's the difference. They have children, right? Mom is starting to move out, or even and things have happened. There's a separation going on. The best way to handle it is a complete break. You have to break it mentally and create that law has to be the default. You can't go back on that. But what you can do is create that new identity and that new spark, and you can start to move forward, right? And I've actually seen guys get a far better relationship. Even though it appeared that the relationship was over and done, it wasn't. They still had a relationship around the children, and it had not been viciously destroyed in their social circle. I think that's the key. If they're having that issue, even if there was some infidelity and it hadn't gone so far as that it went into the social circle and everything was cut, they're still married, there's legal ties, there's children involved, there's things like that. I watch guys turn it around to where they've established a brand new relationship under their domain. That means complete submission, because she realized her fuck up and wanted to come back. And now you got a guy that's involved in a marriage that is laid out by him. Here's the benefits for you to be in here, but it's on my terms now. And I've actually seen a couple of couples like that have lasted years and are very good. Now, there's definitely an element of dread game that goes on. These are high value men, and there are a ton of women of even higher statuses that want those men and would sleep with them in an instant. And so there's an element of fear there on the woman's side too.
Now, here's a question.
So there is on that exception side a little bit of difference to be had. I just wanted to point it out. I don't think that is the rule at all, but I've actually witnessed that at least in 3 circumstances. Now, the vast majority of them.
I do have a question related to this, Thor. So we're talking a lot here about a woman cheating on you. That's been like the whole focus. Now, when we're talking about taking out the trash, like, never bring it back in. What about the situation where you break up with a girl, and then further down the line, you decide that you would want to get back together with her? Does that still follow the same rule here, or do we view that a little bit differently?
Wait a minute. You broke up with her?
Yeah, you broke up with her, and then further down the line, you're like, you know what? I'm going to give that another go.
No, I would think not. I would think it's the same.
Really? Okay. Because I had personal experience with that myself.
Tell me your logic. Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think it necessarily is the best idea, anyways. But I've done it, and I've done it successfully. And it, when we got back together, it was pretty awesome, and it was pretty awesome for a while. And so I'm just like wondering if it applies to all relationships, because
So
it's the
did you-
same thing with. Go ahead.
Did you initiate the go back or did she?
I initiated the I initiated the initial breakup. She had reached out, and I had initiated then getting back together after she reached out, like 2 years down the line.
Are you still together today?
No.
Okay.
See, I think what Huds is saying is a little tricky, because I could see that. Now, in the sense of, let's say you initiated a breakup. Or you're like, this is not working. You move on. You're leveling yourself up. Let's say your paths cross 2-3 years down the road, and you notice a change in her. Then I would say, okay, she has probably, maybe after you vet her a little bit more and you realize, oh, she has leveled up. She has those issues that I have with her are no longer visible. Then I could see giving it a go. But the whole point of this rule, and this is what I wanted to go back to what Thor was saying, was that the rule's not saying that it cannot be done.
Yep.
But it's saying your time is better invested in new relationships, meaning you're not having to rehash
old ground.
You're not having to go through the trash to fix whatever baggage that you left in your old relationship. So when you're with a new person, you're reestablishing everything's new ground. You're building something new. When you're trying to rebuild something, you're going to find out that there's a lot more to work under. Like if you get in an old car, right, trying to restore a car, right, and you look underneath the hood, and you're like, oh, it's just the tranny that needs to be done. But then when you start digging in there, you're like, shit, the tranny's shot. Now the engine's shot. Oh God, I need a new, this and a new that. And then you start realizing, that old car, that old relationship that you thought was so valuable, once you start digging underneath it, you realize there's not a whole lot of value unless there was a change. And I think that's the whole point of the rule, that is your time is going to be invested better in a new relationship, building something new.
Your probabilities are better. Your probabilities are better because regardless of the side, you still have the baggage and the memory. Everybody collects baggage. Why do you think some of these people that are middle-aged have such difficulty? They're carrying a lot of shit into that room every time they come in. It's a burden for sure. I think men are equipped, and if they're fully in control of their lives, they can decide to do an exception, particularly if they need practice breaking up again, because sometimes you need practice breaking up. So you might as well do it with somebody familiar, right? Look at Mark.
I think that's important. Is like, I don't think what Rolo's saying is that it can't be done. I don't think Rolo's saying, hey, guess what? It cannot be done. You cannot fix a relationship where someone's cheated, or you decide to leave them, or they decide to leave you. He's not saying that it cannot be done.
It can be.
It can be, but he's saying your time is just better invested elsewhere. That's what he's saying. He's not saying it can't be done. He's saying it's just better to invest elsewhere if you want to start something new, and I think that's the importance here, because what you're saying, Thor, is right. I know relationships where somebody is cheated and they have successfully made their relationship, and it took a lot of work. It took a lot of trust building again. It took a lot of, rehashing their past, problems, and eventually they got through it.
Well, the only time I see it even potentially being worthwhile, and I'm not even sure that it is, but I would say this, because you know what I do? I'm going to just put a stake on it, because here's the thing you have to consider. You have children, especially young children that need a mom and a dad. Okay. So you've got that going right then and there. Now you have to ask yourself, is it worth the effort? Because I have to have the most power in the relationship. Me. He who has the most power has the control in the relationship, is going to lead it. And if I'm leading it, I'm responsible for it. I have the authority in that relationship. Guess what? I'll make it successful. If not, I'll cut it loose. You're going to have to put some extreme boundaries here of how much effort and time you're going to put into it. And the reasons for that, in my mind, would only be for the children. And it would also have to be the actual offense is not that egregious. And it hasn't been, I haven't publicly taken that garbage to the side of the curb where everybody can see it. It's been a very private affair. If that's the case, you still have leverage, because once it's taken publicly like that, then you have a problem with, the whole social aspect, social circle, pre-selection, all that stuff that you may never recover from. You probably won't. It'll always be a stain.
Hey, Thor.
Yeah.
Hey, do me a favor real quick and extrapolate on how egregious. How do they calibrate that in their mind? Like, what is the level of egregious is it calibrated to each man into his own perception of what's happened? Or can you kind of break on that a little bit? Because I think they need to hear that. I mean, because this is about solving problems, right? If these dudes are going through something like this, it's good for them to understand.
I would default to the rule at the very first thing. That's where I would start at. The rule's a rule. You look at it, and although if you have children, you have legal obligations. How far has it gone? Did she run off with the pool boy? You got a problem. You're gonna have to follow the rule.
The pool boy.
I mean, or did she find a $1 million lawyer? I mean, a lot of guys don't recover from that. She found a $1 million lawyer, and you've slaved for 20 years. You built her the house of her dreams. A lot of guys are just going to go and hang themselves in that house.
What about what Phil said here? The different levels of cheating. So at what level is it not acceptable anymore? Like if you find out that she's been DMing somebody.
Oh, emotional completely, because for a woman, emotion equates to sex too and intimacy. So that's an easy one. The moment it crosses the line emotionally.
Gotcha.
So it could be as simple as a text.
I got a comment on this. I'm thinking about the guy sitting there begging. I was trying to think, have I ever done anything like that? And I would say the closest thing was when my last marriage, we'd gone to a counselor, a woman counselor, and discovered that my ex-wife was basically taking out everything on me, the anger she had for her mother. So she told me that when she got like that I should just hug her and told her I love her. Well, you guys can guess what happens. They disrespect you, and that's more disgusting to them, similar to maybe this guy begging, and things continue to get worse.
Yeah.
But to me, if you want to fix something like that, it has nothing to do with working on the relationship. That's a signal that you as a man need to work on yourself. Because I've walked away from a lot of women, several marriages, and I just walked away. You got to be willing to walk away. Did it hurt? Was I hurting like that guy? I probably was, but I didn't beg. And every one of them came back, and I was able to be with them again. But I had grown and leveled up, and they hadn't. And I did not get together with them to make things work again. Maybe it was just more of an accomplishment, or just to see if I could. And somebody stated on there in a comment, the reason you leave and the reason I left is the same reason that I wouldn't want to get back together with them again. Because very few women and few men will look at themselves in those situations and say, what do I need to do to change me? I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the last relationship that I had started about 4 years ago, and I walked away from that one. And when I did, it hurt, but I started working on myself. I wrote and published 2 books. I started this YouTube channel. I got busy with my life, and as well as I could, kept the focus off of what that guy was focusing on, thinking that if he just got her back, everything would be okay. And the reason people go back is because they're afraid of change, and they know this is comfortable. Even though it's not working, they're familiar with it. And nobody wants to get out of the comfort zone unless they're forced out. Few men will step out and realize you got to work on yourself. You can't fix the relationship. You got to work on yourself. And that, in return, will either fix it or you don't give a shit. You got to get to the point where you can walk away. You always have to be willing to walk away.
Yeah, I think where this rule rubs everybody, in a funny way, is because while there's an exception like I talked to, it's extremely effing rare. And so, but everybody wants that, and the guys get really attached. They love idealistically, and they're grabbing at straws. So this rule really rubs them. It's like, why not? Why not? Why can't I? I'm a soulmate. Very difficult, sharp part of the pill, And I've consulted with guys that have really difficult time because they're actually in a separated situation. And when I get the history, they do not realize that they actually fed into that the whole effing time. They got fat. They got sloppy. They started being quippy. They thought everything would be the same. They're not carrying their burden of performance. And then on top of that, and at least 2 guys I worked with, they put their woman in the dead aim of a guy that's gonna fuck her and fuck her good, and then they look the other way and not even realizing they put her in that exposure, especially in work circumstances. And when they put them in that exposure for hours in, hours out, and they're not carrying their burden of performance, it's like, okay, so basically you're telling her, I'm no good, go fuck this guy. You did it to yourself, you know. And those are the really hard ones to take this, to look at this pill.
You know, it's another reason
kids
why it's
are
hard for
involved,
guys.
it's just a nasty situation. In that case, I tell most of them, you need to move on.
You know, another reason why it's really hard for guys to take this pill is because their woman is intertwined with their identity.
Yes.
And that's why they would do whatever to dig through the trash to fix a broken relationship that they should just toss out. Is because at some point they lost their identity in who they were and they became us.
That's a reversal.
We are this couple. These are our friends. And their identity has intertwined. So when it's time to break, they don't want to break the identity that they have built because they don't have any individual identity. They don't know who they are other than this person's partner, this person's husband, this person's boyfriend. And then they're like, they see the threat of her taking away their identity from him, and they're begging for it. No, don't take away my identity. I put so much work into this identity. I can do better. I can make this identity better. They have poured so much into this identity as a couple and as what they're seen as that they don't know how to operate without it. And what does it make them feel like? Oh, well, wait a minute. You're not with so-and-so anymore. You lost your identity. You lost who you are. Now the guy's spiraling. And
so Glenn, that would be taking the full blue pill, really, because what's happening here is a reversal of identity identification, right? You're the man. You have your archetype. You've reinvented yourself. You're on mission. She is a complement to your identity, and she identifies her identity with yours. It is a melding of her identity to yours. That's biblical. You know that. If you're doing it in reverse, you're headed for a disaster.
And that's what that video, when the video of the guy, that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I saw. Like, I saw him so freaked out of losing his identity with her that he was begging her, please don't take my identity away.
That's when
please don't take this away from me.
Yep.
Because this is all I have.
I like the way you said that. That deserves another thunderclap because, you know, that is the essence of one-itis, is loss of identity like that, right? So that's pretty good. Now look at Don Levon in 2022 to take a woman back after infidelity. This is permission for her to do it again. It's easier, just go to the next level up.
Don Levon deserves a thunderclap. That's fire right there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, let me get that. Let me just
there you go, Don.
Let me do this, Don. Here you go. Listen up. Goddamn right, son. Okay, so under those circumstances, I'll give you a clue though. You should have a roster and she just goes to the bottom.
That is true.
What is the investment?
Great way to handle it.
What's the investment principle they talk about? Someone invests so heavily in something, even though it's failing, they can't get out. They just keep investing in it. They don't want to let it go. There's a name.
Like a gambler.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I don't. What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Gambler's fallacy.
Yes.
There's another name for it, and when it comes to real estate and different types of financial investments, I can't remember what it is. So,
let's see, I have that handy. I'll look for it later.
What's that Kenny Rogers song? You gotta know when to hold them.
Yeah.
Know when to walk away.
think about all the simp songs where I can't live without your love. They go on and on and on. I mean, they're just everywhere. About
they're all on Huds playlist.
Junior, you know what's gonna happen.
Junior,
he's trying to wake up.
Man. Huds has got it bad, man. And this group
when did that become Junior? That's what it is right there. It's the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah,
there it is.
It's Captain Blood on it again. And you know, he had another comment too. The majority of guys fall into that group, Thor. Many have no idea eating even the burden of performance. I think we're going to do a 2-part series on burden of performance. And instead of going through, we'll define it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay it out maybe at the end of November, some bullet points that a guy can do to start fulfilling that burden of performance. Simple things. Mark's real good at it because he's got that inspiration thing there. And then the men here have experience with doing that. And all of us, you're not perfect. None of us are perfect. Guys, I'd be surprised if any of us didn't have a tear or two for one-itis at one time or another when we got our divorce or shit went south on us. We didn't go, oh, I feel so bad for myself. And you get sorry for yourself, even if you're the 5-year-old kid that didn't get the candy and simped out with mom like that. Please, 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 mom. You did it.
Simping with mom.
Well, it is. It's the same damn thing, Phil. I didn't get my Abba Zaba, but my brother did. I'm going to throw myself on the floor and go, please, mom, please, please, please. It's not the same. Life's not the same. I'll never be the same without an Abba Zaba that you buy right now here in Kmart.
Kmart.
I always had too much stubbornness to do that. I'm just like, F you and walk away, even if I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we learn our lesson. Mostly you do it once.
I'll just steal my damn candy bar.
Done, right?
I'll just steal the candy bar. It's my candy bar now.
Yeah. You criminal.
I'll just do it the Phil Foster way. I'm bigger than you. I'll just take your candy bar, little brother.
Yeah. But I think we can associate that because we have people in our family or close to us that's not uncommon behavior. You know, for uncommon men, it's uncommon behavior, right?
So
Yes.
here's the recap of this rule then, right, Thor? It would be like, it's not that you can't recover from a situation in a relationship that deserves a breakup or that could lead to a breakup. It's
Right.
not saying that you can't. It's saying that overall your time is valuable and your time would be better invested in a new relationship where you don't have this problem that is so egregious and that is so that's going to complicate things.
Correct.
Now, if you value the relationship enough, you can make it work. Just know that you're going to have to go through this problem and endure this problem on whatever this problem may come out with. But if your time is more valuable, then you're better off putting it. If you don't value the relationship enough, then you're better off putting in your time in a better relationship or a different situation where you're not going to have to deal with that problem.
I think that's the most probable outcome for sure. Without a doubt, that's what we're saying. Would you guys like to see? Let's close this one up with the exact opposite of what we just saw. Let's do that. So I'm going to preface this, guys. This rule is pimp or be pimped. And let's go ahead and watch a pimp in action, shall we? This is a funny one. You guys will enjoy it.
What's wrong, baby? What's wrong? Are your hoes acting up again? You can tell me. You know you can tell me that us anything. Yeah? Which one was it? Natalia?
No.
Savannah?
No.
Larissa?
No.
Was it Nevaeh?
No.
Was it Samantha?
No.
Haley?
No.
Well, which one was
It was
it?
that bitch Liza. That bitch Liza acting up, bro.
What'd she do?
She got jealous because I was hanging out with Haley the other day. And then I told
jealous?
Haley, let me like call you right back because fucking Larissa's calling me. And I'm like, all right, bitch.
Well, you need to put them in your place, babe. Like in their place.
Bro, I dead as fuck Liza the other day. I don't know what she's like bugging about.
Exactly. She shouldn't even care.
I
If
know
I don't
her.
give a fuck. Why do they give a fuck?
I know her, babe.
Like, why are they all
This is why you're
pressed?
my girlfriend, bro. This is why you're my girlfriend
Period.
number one.
Period.
So I fucked her the other day. I don't know what her problem is with Haley. Anyway, we had to have a little comedic relief there. Be a pimp. He didn't look like it, but there you go.
I thought that was funny because the title's Healthy Toxic Relationships.
Well, obviously it's a skit, but it's funny as hell. They pulled it off really well, right?
Yeah, that was
She wearing 9-inch hoops. What's wrong? What's wrong? Is it your hose? Is it your hose? Yeah.
I would love the day that my girl said that to me. What's the problem? Is it the other hose? Are they acting up?
It's my other hose, queen. You got to help me get them in line here. I don't know what it is with Liza. I fucked her the other day and Haley's getting upset, so I don't know.
Well, all that shows you is that, guys, as much of a breakup is bad and how much it hurts, it does hurt. I mean, like, I think all of us could say that we have been through a breakup that that we probably have, found ourselves being real simpy about. What, maybe it's in public or maybe it's by ourselves. We're listening to, Sam Smith in the corner rocking back and forth crying, or, listening to some soft ass, old 80s rock crying about the girl. We've all been there. But
Yes,
the difference is we came to a point where we realized our time is better invested in building ourselves up and going after something new.
Chasing excellence.
You have to be able to overcome your emotions. That's part of the problem today with these emotionally weak men. They cannot rule their emotions. They're ruled by them. And that takes walking through some of those situations and others to get to where you can control your emotions and use logic and reason.
Oh, it's a great lead in, because rule number 8 and number 9 is going to have a lot to do with you being able to regulate your emotions and not fall into these traps. These are important because I don't think guys will realize this. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. Iron Rule of Tomassi, number 8.
Iron Rule 8. Always let a woman figure out why she wants you. Never do it for her. You see a hot girl and you think to yourself, she's out of my league. Well, congratulations. You just let the girl figure out why she won't you, and you haven't even opened your mouth. The idea of leagues is an illusion. If you are part of the pickup community, you know that 9s and 10s are typically glass cannons. Guys value appearance, and her appearance is her identity. When that identity is challenged, she loses it. That's why the pickup guys will act like they don't care when they are around beautiful girls. The girls are used to having droves of beta boys drooling over them. So when a guy ignores them or makes a cheesy remark about their appearance, they lose their minds, along with their virginity for the night.
All right, guys, let me shut this down.
Iron Rule.
And Iron Rule number 8. Give me your base thoughts on this. I have some stories, but it's always let her figure out why she won't fuck you. Never do it for her. And you know what, Huds, I'm gonna bring in here because part of your text game and what I was alluding to earlier, whereas back in the day there was the whole text rule that says for every 3 of her texts, text once. Of course, I reversed it when it was rules for poons, but most guys end up sending 3 or 4 texts to every one of hers. You overwhelm this. You're giving her all these reasons why. This is kind of the Mr. Nice Guy rule. No more Mr. Nice Guy right here. So tell me your thoughts on this, because you're in the business of coaching guys. And I mean, I even found this when I was coaching NPC bikini competitors. Some of the gals would always confide in me because for some reason, when you're working out with them, they're hot and sweaty and breathing hard. They're in this kind of physical state. They tell you everything in between sets. It's like this one gal was having so many problems. She's like, I don't know. He owns a business. It's this, it's that. And then, it's just on the 3rd date, he brought like 6 dozen roses, and then he sent something here. And it's just like, we only had 2 dates, I was like, okay, but this is a common theme, man. Guys would overdo it, even though on the outside, the appearance was this guy was a total Chad. And he did these things. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, absolutely. When you're just starting to talk to somebody, you don't want to, and I tell guys this all the time. You don't want to have them as your text buddy. You want to get to the end goal as soon as possible. And instead, a lot of the times they'll be just divulging too much information. And the more information you share, the more likely she can find a reason not to think that you guys are compatible. And then also, you have nothing to talk about on that first date. So it's really important to, play it smart and play it tight, because otherwise, she's going to get overwhelmed, or she thinks also what you were saying with like 3 texts, multiple texts, all the texting. She's going to think that you got nothing going on in your life.
Yep, absolutely. So I think guys get too verbose on this, and they definitely let a woman know the out of your league thing. I have a story for this, and I hope you guys have some stories here too, because I really want to get some action items for guys if possible here on why you wouldn't tell the woman why they wouldn't. don't tell them what you make. I mean, these are common lies that men said, don't tell them what your income is. And guys, don't tell them what your height is. You know what it is. I mean, just say what your height is. You don't have to lie, but don't give her initial excuses when you first meet. Just let it be a mystery. See, I mean, there was this one PUA. His name was Mystery for a reason. Mystery is super important and intoxicating to a woman. And I think this plays into this rule as well, is allowing her the mystery to put the dots together. She will put them together in your favor. The less you say and the more you show, right?
Her imagination is your greatest ally.
It is. And it's also her greatest sex organ.
Yes, it is.
This is where you get the Phil Foster voice and you make her repeat it.
I've never tried that, but
you're whispering to her. So I suppose you like that. You must be the black sheep in the family.
Oh man, you guys are fucking terrible.
Are we doing our Phil Foster?
You guys are fucking terrible.
So
I agree with Huds though, man. I agree with Huds. Closing chicks all day long in text is easy. It's getting to that end goal. It's but see, in your mind, gents, depending on how many girls you have in your rotation or however many you're texting, it's how you select which ones you want to put that energy and effort into. I don't know how Huds would feel about that. I might be texting anywhere from 4 to 10 girls in a week.
You don't gotta listen to it.
Well, this guy put it on. This guy did it right here. Yep. Captain Blood, that's correct. That's 100. The rule.
Yeah, and here's a good example of it. So one of the guys that I was with, that I'm with on this trip here last night, he was one of the girls that he's seeing. She was having issues with her tires or something, and so he was kept FaceTiming her. He was texting her. He disappeared at the club at one point, and we found him in the corner on his phone. And it's like, dude, she knows that you're on this guy's trip. And if you ignore her a little bit and deal with the problems when you get back, she's going to be thinking that Hamster's going to be going what's he doing? Who's he talking to? And it's better to do that instead of, that's essentially a shit test, what she's doing right there, to see how much control she has over you. And if you actually are out having a good time or not, or if she knows that she can just puppet you.
I got a couple of anecdotes of that too before we're done, but I'll go with them, and they're a couple years old, but I'll need to realize these are in consulting situations where there's a lot of familiarity. Already the guy has disqualified himself, at least in one. This guy meets a gal. She's hot. She's middle-aged though, so she's past the wall. He is too. He's probably 15 years older than her. He's an engineer. He's quiet. We're talking, this isn't a consult situation per se. We're talking about how he can do better. He's already announced to her, because she said, well, I don't know that you're really my type, because he did all of the over-the-top stuff already. Flowers, cards, this and that. She owns her own home. Later on, we found out she was a dancer, saved her money, put herself through college, and bought her own home, perennially single, all that sort of stuff. But what he had done, he had also publicly announced that, yeah, you're probably right. You're out of my league. I would say that, but I had to shoot my shot and was willing to walk away. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you want to do? Do you want a girlfriend out of this? He goes, no, I really just like to bang her. I think that'd be cool. I said, okay, here's your shot. There's an event going on at a nudist ranch. You just lay it out there. I'm going to this nudist ranch. There's all this stuff going on. And of course, I knew they had DJs and all this stuff going at this time and that time. And I had pictures. He posted pictures and said, yeah, maybe you're out of my league. Maybe you'll find somebody, that's in your league at this place. You want to go with me? I'll at least pay out there and you can hang for the day. If you don't like it, I'll Uber you back. Dude, she went and she fucked him 6 times that day. And he banged her for almost 18 months on and off. She was out of his league? No, not really. He just told her that. He just reinforced her initial reaction. And now I've left a couple things out there because obviously, there's that situation. But he really did tell her all the reasons why she couldn't bang him.
I love that story. That's fantastic.
Well, I said, you got nothing to lose, dude. Let's set this up. It's in the area. It's popular amongst younger people and some of the lifestyle people. It's just a resort that's being rented, and there's DJs and the pool's nude, and there's all kinds of people in bikinis. They're doing a competition, and that's when we found out actually she was a dancer. So she wasn't unfamiliar. So there was that, but
she didn't study at Juilliard. She didn't do ballet.
Not that kind of dancing.
Oh man, I thought she was something. She was a nutcracker or something.
No, but that's a really good point.
Literally a nutcracker.
You did know the nutcracker. But
that's a really good point that I talked to some guys about. Don't use self-deprecating humor, because if you're not good at doing it appropriately,
well, that's our next rule.
All you do is make yourself look like a loser.
Let me
get
into this real quick before we go to the Iron Rule 9. Here's the problem with leagues, guys. You are evaluating yourself based off of how you evaluate her. But you have to understand, women are sexual objects to men, and men are success objects to women. So you don't necessarily have to look like Thor in the picture, shredded, super Chad-like, to be considered a high-value guy. It helps. But you are comparing her, you're looking at her like, oh, she's out of my league, based off of her looks. But you have to understand, her looks fade. Her looks has a shelf life. You can't compare yourself to leagues that way. You are comparing apples to oranges. They're both fruit, but they're different fruit. Okay? You are leveling up differently than she levels up. She can only level up one way. Okay? She can only get prettier. And if she doesn't get prettier, she gets uglier, and she's going to age out. That's why leagues don't exist, because you are basing your metric for her based off of how you view yourself. And you cannot do that. There's different metrics for men and different metrics for women. So that's why leagues don't exist. You're comparing two different things here.
Yeah, and that's why older men can go out with younger women, because it's a different set of standards there.
It is. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the win for the women, regardless of age, and this is why they go for older guys, it's the ring. Because when they age out, guys do put on something called wife goggles. It's a very well-known phenomenon. And if the woman provides some level of femininity and loyalty, guys don't leave them. And they get what they want out of it. And it's a very fulfilling life for their nature. Now, we talked earlier off air about why that is. And I think it's all about money. Get them working, get them taxes. And the way you do it is to convince them they're men. And then that also makes them very unattractive to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never want to talk yourself out of it to the woman, because when you do that, you kind of look like an emotional tampon. You're crying your blues to them on what a pathetic piece you are. And why no woman would bang you. She's not going to sign up for that. I mean, this is kind of related. I got another story. This was definitely a consult. And the guy wanted to get his wife to go to him. He was very well paid corporate guy. There was always a social circle in corporations where you need to show up after hours to do something, right? There's always a meeting. There's always this cocktail party. And he basically would tell her why she wouldn't want to do it, but he wanted her to do it. He talked his wife out of it for so long. And then when he tried to bring her back, she was already talked out of it. Wouldn't do it. And their marriage was headed for the rocks. And this was pretty public. And he said, it's really important that I show up with my wife. Part of my consult was really risky, but I suggested maybe you find somebody to take and then dress her to the nines and show up. You got to show up with somebody, and she didn't show up. Well, let's just say this. After that public stunt, it went real well for him on all fronts. He got an earful, but then he also got pounded for the next month like he had never been pounded before. And then somebody showed up to every event, which is what he wanted. So don't talk yourself out of it, guys. Anyways, I blended a bunch of stuff there together, but I thought that was a successful outcome.
So where is this rent a wife for an event website? Is there this rent a wife for the night type of thing?
Oh God, there's a lot. If you guys open your eyes, there's a ton of ladies that would love to do it for a minimal price. There's nothing but a transactional world out there for the most part. But here's the thing. You got to be smart, you know. He just leveraged something because he really did need in that business world to present something. He talked himself out of it over the years, you know, and he needed to fix that. So that was a few years ago too. I don't know if it works so well today. And he had to take a risk. Says, hey man, this might go south too. Just saying. He's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna try that. He was desperate and it worked.
And I think, like, you know, this rule also goes back to the guys. If remember, you are the prize. Okay, yes, you are the prize. I said it. We always tell, like, oh, we hear guys always say how lucky they are for getting a little lady, but you are the prize. You are the Lombardi trophy she gets to hold up at the end of the game. Okay, you're the one that you're the ring. You're the ring because she can't get a ring without you giving it to her. So you are the prize. And this whole thing about, you know, oh, she's out of my league. No, you are the prize. At the end of the day, if you level up, if you do right, you become that guy, the high value guy, you are the prize.
Yeah, a man's got to believe that inside himself. He can't just say it consciously. He's got to believe that within, you know, the subconscious, the inner being. You got to actually feel like you are, that if she does walk away, even though you know it would hurt you, it's her loss. Even though you don't feel like that, logically as a man, you know it's her loss. And she will come to see that if you continue to level up as time goes on. And if you want her back, I say they always come back. Every one of them has always come back to me. If I want them back, I could have had them. It's just the way it's always been because I knew that, well, I mean, I felt I was the best they could have. And if I believe that, it becomes a reality.
There's another real quick component here. I've heard Andrew Tate talk about this too, and I agree. And I do this for myself all the time. When you talk yourself or tell a woman why she shouldn't fuck you, you're telling yourself subconsciously why all women won't fuck you.
Yeah.
When you tell yourself you're a god amongst men, much as like RP Thor is a god amongst men, I am a god amongst men, and reality manifests itself for me as a god amongst men. I hope you guys picked up on that. It's probably the most important thing that you'll ever hear.
Yeah, I understand.
Because it affects your subconsciousness all the time. I don't have to go around and say it everywhere, but I have to say it to myself.
Yeah,
I have to do these things. That's the secret to being a top G.
That's it.
Exactly. Now we should move on to rule number 9, because this fits right in with the fact that when you do what we're going to talk about in rule 9, you subconsciously give yourself affirmations that these things are true. Okay. So let's listen to it real quick. Rule 9. Iron Tomassi, or Iron Rule of Tomassi, number 9. Here you go.
Seriously self-deprecate with a woman you intend to be with. If you were a douchebag on a date, don't text her later saying, "Hey Stacy, I thought about what you said to me and I have been really douchey lately. I think back to our first date and realized how much of a reject I was. I hope we can start hanging out again because I enjoy your company." This is needy, self-deprecating, and a cry for sympathy. When you act like a douchebag, own your douchebagness. Be the fun, nothing is a big deal douchebag, and start being less apologetic. There are situations where it makes sense to sincerely apologize, but do it with confidence and without expecting her sympathy.
Now, I have a little bit of a different take on his take to apologizing, and I can go through that at some point, but you know, that was a little bit different read on Rule 9, but I liked how he did it because he showed an example text of self-deprecating to a woman you want to be with. Let's just go back and I will read from the book exactly what the rule is, though. Now, it was paraphrased here, but it is never self-deprecate under any circumstance. This is a kiss of death that you self-initiate, and it's the antithesis of the prize mentality. Did I just talk about subconscious and who is the God amongst men and who is not? You destroy your own subconscious worth when you do this. Once you've accepted yourself and presented yourself as a complete douche, there's no going back to confidence with women. Never appeal to a woman's sympathies. Her sympathies are given by her own volition and never when they are begged for. Women despise the obligation of sympathy. It's going to kill arousal, dry up her pussy like the Sahara Desert. Okay? So let me just go back a little bit of what I found out about was going to play a video, but ran out of time, where Jordan Peterson talks about self-deprecation. He actually, in a long-winded video, talks about self-deprecation and where it had come from and why it should be left to the realm of comics. Because, where it actually came from was, in the old feudal systems, we would have the fools. Remember the fools? They'd dance around and be the court jester, the clowns. It was a way to have an ombudsman, speak about unspeakable truths that need to be spoken in such a way that he could take the abuse, because he was nothing but a fool, you see. And it was funny. And so humor was used in that way exclusively in the halls of power. And then it came out to where comedians could do the same thing, get everybody to laugh and all of that sort of thing. In that environment, he's isolated from it. People will take this and they'll do this in their personal lives around women they want to be with. It is absolutely the most destructive thing you can do, because it leaves no mystery and it tells her exactly that you think of yourself as a piece of shit, when in reality, your mind is telling you, or the reality of your mind is telling you, that I'm admitting to my mistakes. I'm a better man for it. Therefore, my wisdom will shine through and make her pussy extremely wet and slimy for me. And it doesn't work. They might laugh, but they're laughing at you, not with you. So I wanted to kind of mention that this is a part where you can really use the law of power, written by Robert Brown. And that's that law of power, that say less than is necessary. You can be a funny guy, but don't be funny at your expense. Or if you're going to do it at the expense where it looks like you use that technique where it is agree and amplify. You're such an idiot fool that you're a million times more foolish than could realistically be possible. That's a way to bypass it. But this is not easily done. You have to have extreme social intelligence to be able to do it and time it in such a way that you can connect and still have that value to the woman. So this blends right in with telling her why she won't bang you. Don't self-deprecate. I hope that what I said makes sense. I know you guys have a lot of words here, but when you do that, you're definitely reinforcing the fact subconsciously that you're not worthy and that you make a lot of mistakes. And they're not looking for a guy that makes a lot of mistakes. Remember, they're looking for the alpha. They're looking for the alpha seed, but they're also looking for beta provisioning. And a beta provisioner that makes a lot of mistakes isn't attractive to them. There's lots of betas that make tons of great decisions and provide a lot. Elon Musk. And there you go. You don't need to self-deprecate. That's just shooting yourself in the foot. What do you guys think?
Let me say something about it, and tell me if you guys agree. But to me, when you self-deprecate, it's a female trait, right? The reason why I say that is because how many times have you guys heard your woman ask you, does this dress make me look fat?
Mm-hmm.
And they want you to say, no, babe, you look great in it, right? But when you say, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm such an asshole, what you're really wanting her to say is like, you're not an asshole. I understand. Like, you're wanting the sympathy fuck. You're like, you wanting her, instead of like owning it, you are asking like you're asking her if you look fat, and you wanting her to tell you, no, it's okay. All right. And to me, that's a female thing. That's what women do. Women go, oh my gosh, was I being a bitch? And like, they want you to say, no, honey, you weren't being a bitch to that waitress just because she was smiling at me. Like, they want you to co-sign how their opposite feelings, They want you to tell them that they weren't being, stupid, or they're not fat. And just so they could feel better. So guys do the same thing when they self-deprecate. Like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. Like, oh, you're not an idiot. It's okay. You just forgot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a female thing.
It's approval seeking.
Exactly. They're fishing. They're fishing.
Manipulative way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or
it's that
covert way. Yeah.
Yeah. That Peter Griffin syndrome, right? It's amazing too. A lot of sitcoms, a lot of television that the general public watches, all the dudes are doing that same behavior. It's insane. And that's a big thing to think about, right? Is 100% self-deprecating comments to your girl is going to dry her right up, man. You need to stop that right away. The big thing is understanding is whatever color she displays is the color you friggin' call it. And that's just how I roll in my house.
Yeah.
If you're displaying a certain behavior, it's like Maury Povich used to be. Well, it says right here, and that's the end of it. You know what I mean? There is no, oh, well, you know, anything. You know, they don't want to hear your problems. They want you to problem solve.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. So if she asks if she's being a bitch, the best response is, well, yeah, you were being a bitch.
Straight, just straight to the point and roll.
Or you just say, I think the question's in the answer. If you have to ask me, then obviously you must have been, because you obviously think you are. The question.
I love the way Mark put it, because that is the lovable douchebag for her. Was I being a bitch? Well, yeah, you were. Oh my God. Oh, you know, you're the lovable douchebag at that point.
Or any kind of sarcastic smile answer.
Oh, I love the agree and amplify for all of this. Any amused mastery or agree and amplify at the most awkward moment for them always breaks and gives a little arousal. Even if they get pissed, the arousal's still there. And
what's the old saying? You can do anything you want with a girl, but just don't bore her. As long as you keep those emotions going, even if she's pissed off, you're better off than the guy that just takes her out and she has a regular evening with. It treats her good or nice. Let's say it that way.
What are you laughing about, old Phil?
Mark says, or that guy that treats her nice.
Yeah.
Fucking Mark, you savage.
Oh, niceness is a killer.
Your boyfriend is so nice. Dude, man. Here, let's get a picture.
That's the kiss of death. If they say you're a nice guy, you just fall for you screwed up. All right?
Yeah, it's time to go. Pack your bags.
You're about to get cheated on when she calls you a nice guy.
Mark, you're such a nice guy.
But how many men will take that as a compliment that don't even really know what that means, huh?
Yeah. No.
It means like you are a great doormat.
I'll keep you around when I need something.
Yeah, exactly. Let me buy you the butler suit so you can put it on for me, boy.
Yeah,
you aren't a man.
Hey, can you hold my purse while I go make out with my boyfriend?
Oh man.
I've said this so many times with my wife. She now, when we're playing around and we're being social and having a good time, she will tell the other gals, you know, they'll be talking guys, and I've kind of talked her into this because I've used this before, but they'll be talking guys and who's good and who's not. She'll say, well, you know, your husband this or your husband that, and she'll say, oh, he's a good guy, but he's a real bad fucking boy. And that's what you want right there. That's the way you want them.
Well, I'll tell you one of the classic shit tests now that girls will do with the phone. They try to get you to take photos of them. That's
with
one
the phone.
With the phone.
Oh, get you too.
Yeah, they make you their photographer. Last time I was asked that, I said I'm not a photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, take photos of them. They give you their phone and they want you to take photos of them.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you exactly how you do it. You take them and you get them in the position. Okay, now pull those panties down. Gotcha. Now we're doing a point of view here, girl.
Yeah.
Then they don't want it real quick. Or if they do, hey, okay.
I want
the reverse of that, though. One thing that I like to do is just out of the blue, like tell her like stop and take a photo of her. That can
to spike her.
To
spike her.
That can spike her in a good way. But no, I'm not taking photos for your Instagram, honey.
Yeah. No. What you said is really good. We talked about emotional spiking in some of the courseware that we've done, which is a big deal because it's like Mark said, they don't want to be bored. But if you spike at the right time, it's meaningful for them. And it can actually lead to a sentiment that embeds itself in you. And that's part of creating Ride or Die, which we'll get into at one point. That's pretty intense stuff. We'll wait till the audience gets a little bigger and a little more experienced, and we'll do that.
It is doable.
Think about this.
Hold on real quick, Mark. I want to point out something because I gotta get ready.
Yeah, me too.
I want to point out something is this though. All these iron rules go back to one thing. They go back to rule number 1. Because if you're not in your frame, you're going to be digging in the trash can trying to save a broken relationship when you need to let it go. You're also going to, if you're not in your frame, you're going to think less value of yourself than the other girl. If you're not in your frame, you're not going to be able to own your douchebagness. And it's okay to be a douche. and it's okay to apologize, but it's okay to know when to apologize.
Yes.
There's a difference. There's a difference not apologizing for everything, but knowing when to apologize. And that's also working in your frame. That goes all the way back to rule number 1. So if you guys don't remember rule number 1, go back about 4 videos, 5 videos, you could catch all about rule number 1, because all of these rules stem from rule number 1.
That's very, very good. And I want to talk about apologies. I want to do this. This comes right from creating a dominant masculine presence, guys. Guys are trained today to apologize for their existence, and they get in the habit of this. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get the door for you. Why would you say, I'm sorry, let me get the door for you?
I don't think it's about.
This will build into you over time. That's a bad situation. So you want to start with this tidbit to be have a dominant masculine presence. Here's how you apologize. Here's how you should apologize when something bad happens. Obviously, if you step on somebody's foot, there's going to be, oh, forgive me. I did not see your foot there. I hope you're not injured. Can I help you? Totally legit. Or if I fill over on the spot and I drop the bar, I'm going to say, you fucking cunt. You should have lifted that weight. I shouldn't have had to spot you. No, I'm just kidding. Or you can apologize like my brother did back in the day when my father was getting after us for fighting. He said, brother, Thor's brother, his name's Arn. Arn, apologize to Thor right now for what you did. And he wouldn't do it. And he says, I just want you to apologize. Just apologize to him. He goes, okay. He's probably 8 years old. And he looks up at me and my dad standing there. And he says, Thor, I'm really sorry. You're such a fucking asshole. My dad started laughing. I started laughing. My brother started crying. And then that's been the running family joke from now on. This is how you apologize. I'm sorry. You're such a fucking asshole. That's the apology, right? Obviously, I'm kidding. But if you do get into a situation where you have to apologize for something, be a man about it. You don't have to apologize for anything, but if it's egregious, here's what you do. You're going to say exactly what the Bill Clintons of the world said. It's brilliant. It works. It shuts the conversation down. You're going to say, look, mistakes were made. I take full accountability and responsibility for it. The end. And move on. You can even add to it. I take that full responsibility and accountability, and I've taken the right course of actions to correct it. Mm-hmm. You're done. Because girls will want to drag that on for a long time if you're going to do the apology thing. So,
they'll dig that up later on down the road and try to use it on you.
Yeah.
Remember that time when you did this thing?
You can minimize it with language like that, though. You really can. So, anyways, I kind of got off on a tirade, but I love the apology thing. Guys apologize too much, and you really shouldn't.
Hey, you guys know a great way to get through that? All right, is when you start reading 1 Corinthians 13, 1-7. All right, it talks about love. And when she starts bringing up shit from your past, be like, you know what? You don't love me. Like, what are you talking about? The Bible says love keeps no record of no wrong.
Preacher's daughters. Yeah, let's go.
Just remember that, Phil. Phil, remember that. Love keeps no record of wrongdoing.
I'm working on it, man.
She used that one against you too, so be careful. That's two-edged sword, right?
That's why you don't bring up the past. You're like, it's dead.
You got to get that shit to neutral or zero and then move forward or cut losses, man. That's all you got to do.
Exactly.
Captain Blood with the
hey, guys, I'm going to jet. I'm going to get ready.
And I'll be falling real soon. Let's do round table real quick.
All
right, gentlemen, we just did the Iron Rules. It's fantastic. Next week, we're going to do a preview. We're going to talk about passport bros and why the grass might actually be greener on the other side because they might be watering it better. So we'll get there. Mark will comment on it. Glenn, what do you got going on? Where can we see you next? I know you got something going with Huds this week. Let's get into it.
Me and Huds, you guys if you haven't been watching, me and Huds been doing a bi-weekly show, about 30 minutes to an hour, twice a week. We drop knowledge on you. We drop game on you. We drop some fireballs on you. So definitely check us out. Huds, what do we got going on this week? Like, I don't even remember what our next topic is.
Yeah, I don't know. We got a whole backlog, especially from the audience, bringing some stuff up. So just be on the lookout for it.
It's going to be awesome. Also, get ready to stay tuned to my Instagram because you're going to see a whole bunch of pictures of me, Thor, and some Coco. Of course, Coco will be there. And, you know, we're going to be on the red carpet tonight of a movie premiere. So stay tuned to watching that on the Instagram. Somebody bring Mark back up before he goes bye-bye.
Hold on. What happened?
There he goes. Oh, now he's out.
Where'd he go?
I got him. There he is.
Lost
all right, you guys, I'm out.
All right.
Later, Glenn.
Phil, what you got going, man?
Yeah, you can find me over at philfosterfitness.com. You can find me on all socials. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Phil Foster _ and Phil Foster Fitness is on Facebook. Go in there and check us out. We're dropping some content, some lifestyle stuff on Instagram, just steadily chipping away at things. I got my training app for all my online clients. If you're looking to get trained, hit me up. Nutrition coaching, full supplement line. You can check that out at philfosterfitness.com. Just enjoy being on this panel with you gents once a week. It's a great opportunity to learn a few things from guys older than me, like you and Mark and Thor, and then from younger guys like Huds. You know, we got a good dynamic going here. And it's a lot of great information. And I just really enjoy this time with you gents. And with that, man, you guys have a great week. It's good to see you.
Fantastic, Phil. You know, Junior is pretty good at dropping gems. So
he is.
Junior his due for sure. Hud, you're up, man. What you got going?
Sure. So you can find me at the Hudsman on Instagram. This is the best place to find out some updates and also just DM me any questions, anything like that. I've been doing that show with Glenn. It's been absolutely fantastic, covering a lot of different topics. And then, as I had mentioned before, I have the course launch. So enrollment is going to open this week. That course is Changes in the Game, Texting and Mindset Mastery. I'm going to be doing that alongside Andre, where we're going to be doing an intensive 4-week program where on Tuesdays, we're going to be going through mindset tools, things like that, to make sure that you are becoming the man that you want to be. Thursdays, going through technicals of texting, so we can go from start to finish and start getting you guys out there and getting you guys laid. And then we send you off every weekend, come back on the next Tuesday, reflect on what worked, what didn't, how do we make it better. At the very end of it, you guys are going to be all stars. 0 to hero is it's going to be your hero's journey.
Yeah,
so be on the lookout for that. And just through Instagram, we'll probably see some stuff about it. And then we're going to be doing some promotional streams as well.
I can't wait, man. I'm excited. I want to learn that shit too.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I've got so many examples of like clients and then myself, how like even just turning conversations where it's 0 interest all the way to completion and then getting laid at the end of it. It is wild how you can use language to get exactly what you want.
Should continue to sharpen the steel. I love it because you can learn something, and you should. This is part of your burner performance, is to learn this stuff and continue to. Subtleties, things change. You need to be aware of them. And, where does all the innovation come from in society? It's from the younger folks. As you get set in your ways, for us older folks, we need to dig deep with those young folks because they start thinking in different ways. We've laid the groundwork and they're standing on the shoulders of giants. So you definitely need to stay abreast of those things if you want to stay young forever, like a God amongst men. Right, Mark? How you doing, Mark?
Excellent.
What you got going?
You can check me out on Instagram at Mark's Inspiration, YouTube, Mark Daniels, Mark's Inspiration. And if you'd like to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com. I'd be glad to talk to you about your issues or situations. Got a lot of experience I can help you out with.
That's fantastic. And and of course, I'm RP Thor. And if you need a shoulder to cry on or to ride on, girls, you can go ahead and hit me up at becomedurable.com. It's in the chat, right? And you can find me right here, becomedurable.com. And next week, guys, you look in the scroll on the bottom, the DragonShip Mastermind membership is open. So we're going to have 3 hours of uncensored content, very, very deep and very structured for the members. Very reasonable membership. No, it's not a multi-level marketing thing. It is all about you. It's about interacting with men exactly like the men you see here. Nothing is hidden. We don't have an algorithm that's preventing us. So it's all pretty raw. Nobody's going to bust your balls except for you. We're going to lay it out and then you've got to bust your own balls. And we hold each other accountable. We hold ourselves accountable, because the philosophy is a rising tide lifts all boats. And we are that rising tide here on Thor's DragonShip. Look forward to the new shows that will be coming up on the DragonShip Network coming soon. It's going to take a minute, probably a month or two, but we also have our Rumble. We're able to stream live. We'll have to do special shows. I don't have the link here to YouTube quite yet. That's a little bit of a trick. We're going to have to work that technical detail out, and we'll be hitting that platform as well, uncensored. I kind of like the idea of maybe doing some special shows there uncensored as well. So with that, guys, thank you for watching us this weekend on the DragonShip, and we will see you next week on the DragonShip for The Grass is Greener. All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Skull.